it because it's going to be good.
Good.
And I have time. My vet did make posted a letter. What the fuck's it called? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think you were talking about that last night as I started falling asleep. They put out a statement.
Yes, a statement. Jeez, I can't think today. They put out a statement, and they are supposed to contact all of us. So we'll see.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Jill, did you wave? Did you wave to Christine?
I am waving right now.
Let's check out the TikTok. I tried the post Facebook thing through TikTok. Jill?
You posted it through TikTok?
Yeah. You know how you can share your TikTok posts on Facebook?
Yeah.
It goes to my main page, and I don't want it to go there. So I got to figure out how to set it up to where it doesn't go there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got to remember how to do that. It's been a long time since I had a page.
I go into my TikTok settings somewhere because they obviously have my page information or it wouldn't pop up when I hit it. So I probably need to get a link from that page and insert that into my TikTok settings as where to go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jerry. I have not trademarked.
Hi, Kelly. And hi, Kelly.
Kelly with a K?
Kelly with an I.
Well, there's a K, too.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Andrea and Euphonic. Stacy. Why would I judge you from being from West Virginia? You got your panic buying done? You have toilet paper for months? Well,
my backup was, I forgot to plug it in, so I had to plug it in. And now I'm getting all these things that are like, hey, new message. All right. Now.
So, Jill, I've been hearing every other video on TikTok is about some controversy with these kids in this Unfuck America tour thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing that someone was using microaggressions.
Oh.
So, whatever that means. I wanted to apologize in advance for my use of microaggressions and let you know in the future my aggressions will be full-sized, big-ass aggressions and not microaggressions.
I was just going to say, I don't think you'll ever use microaggressions. I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Microaggressions. To me, an aggression is an aggression. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Bruiser says the individual was being overtly racist, including microaggressions. So, does that mean that microaggressions are a racist thing? So if I'm, because I honestly don't know what a microaggression is. That's what I'm asking you for. I'm not being a smartass about it. I have no idea what it is. I feel like it's one of these new words that the kids come up with, you know, because I've never heard of the term until this Unfuck America thing.
I've heard the term before, but I'm not sure what it means. Okay.
So couldn't
Bruiser
you be
says,
microaggressive in ways that aren't racist? Like, couldn't I be microaggressive towards Jill?
excuse me?
No, I'm not saying I would. I'm saying, could I?
That's just not nice.
This is part of being old, Jill. We have people have to explain to us what these sayings mean.
Yes.
But, to me, if you're being racist, I guess they're doing it in a way that's understated. Maybe that's what microaggression means. Because to me, racist is racist, whether you're a little bit racist or a lot racist, right?
Right.
Christine says they're kind of like sarcastic, outbursts in a way. I think I got this. This is like a passive aggressive form of racism. Is that what this is? Right? Where it's kind of understated and not everyone will get it. Hey, Dying Breed. So here's the reason I'm having to ask this group right here what microaggressions are. Because all of these kids and all of these influencers that went on this Unfuck America tour, they're making all these videos about this person using microaggressions. But I haven't seen a single video yet where anyone says what she said. And if I knew what she said, then I would have a better understanding of what exactly a microaggression is. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Dr. Dutch says, like a backhanded compliment. Man, I get backhanded compliments all day.
Oh, hi, Dr. Dutch. And yeah, I do too. Oh, hello, Dying Breed. How's it going today?
Well, a couple of people said in the chat that I'm not. I don't, or whatever. I don't use microaggressions. I guess.
Okay, so
I guess thanks, because I don't think I would know if I did.
Well, okay, here, Autistic Annie put a good example in the TikTok chat. You're beautiful for your age. That's a microaggression. I get it now. I see exactly what it is. Thank you.
I mean,
Annie, thank you.
Where I come from, that's a compliment.
And Homie said, you seem pretty blunt. That's a compliment.
Well, I mean, if you tell someone, hey, you look pretty good for 70.
Well, no, that's not how they're saying it.
They're saying the same thing, right?
No, because you look pretty good for 70 means that you don't look your age. But saying, oh, Jill? Wow, you're actually beautiful for your age. Like, I get it now. I see what it is.
Oh, just a little lighthearted discussion to start the chat.
Right.
Since I was on such a roll yesterday, Jill was convinced I was trying to piss people off. I thought, how could I piss people off today? We'll talk about something I know nothing about, microaggressions.
Oh, my God. I didn't think you were pissing people off. I was just, don't
Well, I'm Gen X. You're Gen X. There's a lot of Gen Xers here. I think we, by nature, just piss people off. Like, that's just a thing,
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And then microaggressions won't work on me because I don't care.
Yeah. I always try to find the intent, and that's where I get in trouble, and I don't know why. Because if I hear someone accuse someone else of being a certain way, and just for the sake of this conversation, we'll say they're using microaggressions. I try to find the person's intent in what they were saying, right? Because it's the intent
Yes.
that matters. But it sounds like microaggressions could be a part of maybe something that occurs subconsciously, right?
I guess so.
No, I mean,
like Christine said, sometimes there is no intent.
Right. And that's why I guess it really wouldn't help me to hear what this person said, because if I don't know the person, then I can't try to make a judgment on their intent. But that's what I do with people that I know, like if I know somebody and I know they're not racist, and someone calls them racist, I understand their intent because I know the person. But if I don't know this person at all that they're talking about. I've never heard of them. But anyway.
So Bruiser says the intent is to do harm to the marginalized. Is that all it is?
That's what we're saying. It sounds like a Google search. And then she yelled at me for not understanding. You're not understanding. You're right.
Neither.
I'm not understanding.
Right. Neither one of us are understanding.
I'm going to have to go read up on microaggressions.
Yes.
So, what's going on today? From what I understand, Amazon has already backed down from their potential display of cost of tariffs on the website. Or someone else said they were only going to display it on something called Amazon Haul, which I have no idea what Amazon Haul is. It's apparently someplace on a website outside of like the app or the store. I don't know. But it's hostile, according to the Trump administration. Amazon sharing with us why things cost what they cost, which is something I've seen. I've never bought anything in my life off of Temu or however you say it. But I've seen some content in the last day of people purchasing things off Temu, and literally on the receipt it has import fees.
Right.
And they buy something for $20, but when it hits their credit card, they paid, I don't know, $50. And they didn't know it was going to be $50, and then they get a receipt that shows the import fee, which is the tariff, right?
Mm-hmm. In Canada, because I was reading Liberals won in Canada. Woohoo, Bruiser.
Congratulations. Yeah, before we go any further, let's stop and congratulate Canada.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. So Amazon is going to list that fee that's going to be charged. That's how they're going to do it.
No, they're not now. They've already backed down.
Or they were going to do it.
Yeah.
So they were going to put the price and then list the fee. Why are they backing down?
Because the Trump administration blasted them today, particularly Caroline Leavitt.
I seen that.
Called it a hostile political move to be transparent about why someone's going to be paying $300 for something they used to pay $100 for.
Right. Well, they might go back to it. Maybe they'll go back to it because they're going to start getting blamed for price gouging.
Yeah, they're going to get. That's exactly it, and that's why they did it. They're going to get blamed for price gouging. So the administration wants them to take the heat for their policy.
Yes, because that's a Trump move.
How dare you tell the truth?
Right.
So Jill, right before
my fans, go ahead.
Right before we started this, I posted a video about that. And in that video, I shared with the people some advice my grandfather gave me 40 years ago.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
I think that that he was right. So my mother used to say that.
Did she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To a similar point. Yes.
I am
Yes.
so much like my grandfather. That sounds like something I would say. So for the people that that didn't see it, the advice my grandfather gave me when I was 10 years old. Okay, this was over 40 years ago. My grandfather told me, if you want to be successful in life, surround yourself with stupid people. Go to work somewhere where everyone's basically stupid. That's basically what he was telling me. And it was like, if you do that, you'll go straight to the top. And
how much? It's funny. It's funny because
it's
how
true.
my mother put it was about somebody that she knew that surrounded themselves with people like that. And she was like, and sometimes it doesn't help if you're dumb too.
Right. Yeah, he told me that.
Mm-hmm. Now, she was referring to someone who tried it, right? That she knows. And so she said it in a way, in that same meaning, but about someone.
So here's what I've learned. And, it's weird because in today's world, I think he's more right than he ever was. But honestly, for me personally, I did very well early in my career being surrounded by people that weren't that intelligent. But it wasn't a conscious decision I made, right? I worked in an industry where no one was educated, right? And I was one of the uneducated. But the biggest strides I made in my career, in my life, and the biggest successes I had was when I was surrounded by the best and the brightest people, because they lifted me up. They taught me.
Yes.
They improved me, right? But we are now in a time where there are so many stupid people that I think we have moved into a time where he's more right than he was wrong. And I saw someone say that's the worst advice. I don't think it's the worst advice, depending on who is receiving the advice. Right?
True.
I think every case is unique. But as kind of funny as the advice was, I think in today's world, I think it's very true. You look at someone like Charlie Kirk. Do you think Charlie Kirk doesn't know what he's doing?
That's what I say. They know.
So but he's not surrounding himself with stupid people. What he's doing is he's speaking to people that don't have wisdom yet. Mm-hmm. Because, college kids can be really smart.
Yes.
College kids are basically a reflection of a lot of society. Some are not so bright, some are super bright. But the one thing they don't have, just being a college kid, is they don't have the wisdom of life and all of the lessons that life teaches you. And, they don't have that. So when you have an impressionable person who can seem to speak eloquently and confidently, influencing young college-age kids, he has built a huge empire speaking to kids about politics. In a way, he basically is following my grandfather's advice. And I think people on the left and Democrats and people that oppose conservatives, I think they are underestimating what Charlie Kirk is doing.
Right.
Listen, when you get into America's colleges and you influence people inside universities, what are those people going to be doing in 5-10 years? They're going to be running the country. 5, 10, 15, 20 years. These are the people that are going to be running this country. And that's the people he's targeting. So I don't agree with the vast majority of the things that Charlie Kirk says. But what he's doing is going to have an impact on future elections in the United States for decades. It is. And I think people don't. I don't think they see it for the threat that it is what I'm saying. I think it's a much larger threat than people realize.
Right. It's definitely more of a threat.
So, yesterday I said the trucking industry is about to collapse. Today, UPS announced they're laying off 20,000 workers.
Oh my God.
Because they do so much business with Amazon.
Right.
And Amazon's currently fucked, if you don't know. If there's nothing in the port of Los Angeles, if there's nothing in San Francisco, if there's nothing in Seattle, oh my God, what percentage of that stuff does Amazon deliver, or does UPS deliver? So as these sales and everything shrink, Amazon is just going to rely solely on their own Amazon delivery and not third party like UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service. And, you know, when people hear UPS is laying off 20,000 people, they're going to be thinking about the guys that drive the delivery trucks to your house.
Yeah.
That's not all UPS does, right?
Right.
Big trucks, semi-trucks, planes, right? They fly cargo all over the world. So 20,000, the loss of 20,000 jobs with UPS is massive.
Well, there's stocking and loading and all that stuff too. So they're probably not going to need as many people to load the trucks if there's no products.
Right. But what industry is UPS in?
What do you mean? Like delivery?
Trucking, right?
Right.
UPS is in the trucking industry.
Right.
And a lot of people was like, when I said the trucking industry is about to collapse, they're like, that's stupid. That's not going to happen. And then the next day, UPS is like, we're laying off 20,000. They're literally, I don't know how they compare in size to other trucking companies, but they are definitely in the trucking industry, and they are a massive company. So that's a huge announcement, laying off 20,000 people. Jobu says logistics. Hey, Jobu. How you doing, buddy? UPS laying off 20,000 due to the tariffs. I have seen that as well. Noel, he says, my street is an Amazon delivery truck meetup. They meet up and they swap packages. I've seen them do that as well. Do you hear my dogs barking? Talk about Gulf of Mexico drilling. The Trump administration, or Donald Trump. Oh, it looks like we lost Jill.
I'm here.
Yeah, but we couldn't hear you.
I know. I kept saying, you can't hear me?
I didn't think you left your house.
No, I meant I came back in and it wasn't working. Like, I was gone for like 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back though.
So yesterday, the Trump administration, Donald Trump signed an executive order that's supposed to increase production in the Gulf of Mexico. The problem is the thing that he is now going to allow companies to do in the Gulf of Mexico, they could already do. They could already do that. So I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. In addition, Chris Wright, this energy secretary, came out yesterday bragging about how the Trump administration is refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and how they are going to continue to do it as long as he is the Secretary of Energy. But here's the thing. The Trump administration has not purchased a single barrel of oil for the Strategic Reserve. Not one. And in order for them to do that, they're going to have to get the funding approved through Congress. There's no money left for them to purchase oil. Congress is going to have to allocate funds for them to put more oil in the SPR. Now, we are currently putting oil in the SPR, but it's oil that the Biden administration purchased in November of 24 that is still being delivered. And there's other oil that was purchased prior to November. I believe it was October 24 that has still yet to be delivered. So there's about roughly, I talked to one of my friends, there's about 10 million barrels left that Biden had purchased that still hasn't been delivered. That's on the way over the next couple of months. And that was all purchased by the Biden administration. The Trump administration cannot purchase any oil because there are no funds in the Department of the Interior to do that. And so how this works is if you sell oil out of the SPR and you retain the funds within the Department of the Interior, then you can go back and repurchase oil without congressional approval. If you sell oil out of the SPR and then you spend that money on other things like deficit reduction, which is historically what those monies have been used for, then you have to go back to Congress and get new funds appropriated to purchase more oil. The funds have been spent. There's no money left to purchase more oil. So the Trump administration will not be purchasing any oil for the SPR until Congress gives them the funds to do so. And Congress has passed how many pieces of legislation under this Congress? Like 3 total? Or something like that? Basically, They haven't passed anything. Basically. No. They've done nothing.
Basically.
Yeah.
Right.
They've done nothing.
It's 3.
And he is also claiming that the Biden administration damaged the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when they took oil out of it. And the reason they can't fill it up faster is because there's damage done to it. That's actually a conspiracy theory that was floated in 2023 by the Republicans in Congress. And a study was done. And there was no damage ever done to the SPR. The reason they're not filling it up faster is because the only oil they have left to put in it is oil that has already been purchased, and they haven't purchased any. That's the reason it's not being filled up any faster. Period. There's no damage to the SPR.
Right.
It's not a thing. I saw some pictures of entire aisles at grocery stores, retail outlets, big box stores that basically were full of one item.
Wow.
So So all of these goods that were purchased in advance of the tariffs, because imports into the United States increased, was at 10% in March because a lot of people bought a ton of stuff ahead of the tariffs so we wouldn't run out of inventory. And when you see an entire aisle in a store that all the shelves are completely full of one item that's the same brand name, it's kind of weird to see that. That means they're putting that extra stuff they bought on the shelves right now. If they're putting the extra stuff they bought on the shelves now, we're that much closer to having a problem.
And that's what I just told my husband the other day, because he's like, you see a lot of Walmart items, and I'm like, because they have them in the back, and that's not a good thing.
What
are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I'm drinking me some sasparilla.
Is it Coke Zero?
It's sasparilla.
Oh my God.
Drinking me some sarsaparilla. What is sarsaparilla, by the way?
I don't know.
Jobu says there was a whole aisle just of KY jelly, so that explains more.
Oh, yeah, that explains way more.
Yeah. What? Larry says it's a root. I'm drinking a root? Wow. Good root. All right. Shaping the minds. We learn something every day here, don't we? Now we know what a sarsaparilla is. Last night I learned what writing was in Canada. What a writing was. Learned quite a bit about Canadian elections yesterday, actually. The story Jill shared with me the other day that I haven't gotten around to talking about yet, because I want to see if more comes out before I talk about it. The couple in Utah that smuggled $300 million worth of oil out of Mexico for the Mexican cartels. Yes. That's really dumb, by the way. So people think that stealing oil is so first of all, it's very easy. It's very easy to steal oil. But do you know what's even easier than stealing oil? Getting caught stealing oil. Yeah, it's Jill, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You got booted again.
It keeps coming and going. I don't know what it's doing. It shows my internet's full bar, so it's just, I don't know what's going on here.
How do you steal oil, Bruiser says? Okay, you back a truck up to a tank and you suck the oil out of the tank. That's how you steal oil. It's pretty easy.
In the middle of the night, right?
But there's a problem. You cannot steal oil without getting caught stealing oil. That's the thing. You cannot do it without getting caught.
You'd think they would have cameras there. Don't they have cameras there?
Even if they don't, you can't do it without getting caught. Because someone's got to take that oil somewhere and sell it.
Right.
And that oil will be assigned to an oil well. And here in Oklahoma, so you go out to a well site, and you steal 120 barrels of oil off of a well site. And the reason I say 120 barrels is because that's the volume you can put in a vacuum truck, 120 to 130 million, or 120 to 130 barrels. You take that off of that site, and that well is going to show a large decrease in production for that day.
Right.
So they're going to know.
They're going to know.
And then when they go sell the oil, it has to be attributed to another oil well. When you buy or sell oil, you know exactly what well it came from. So you're going to go sell this oil, and some oil well, and here's where they usually mess up. They usually, because the people that do this are usually broke and stealing money, right? So they find some old well that doesn't produce hardly anything, and they attribute it to that well. Well, then you have to explain why this well suddenly made 120 barrels of oil it would have never made, right? And the state usually catches it.
Right.
Our state here in Oklahoma, our regulatory agent, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, they actually have software that tracks and can flag big variances in oil production from a well. If something dropped a lot, if something increased a lot. What I'm saying is oil is very valuable, and there are a lot of processes and things in place to prevent the theft of it. A truckload of oil worth $15,000 or $20,000, depending on the price. They're not just going to let that go.
Right.
Because not only are you stealing from the oil company, you're also stealing from the landowner that holds the minerals there. You're stealing from a farmer or a landowner. You're stealing from some guy. But anyway, these people, and someone else mentioned oil DNA. That's absolutely a thing. The oil produced in one well has a different chemical makeup than oil produced in another well. And if you try to sell oil from one well and attribute it to another well, they will know the historical similarities of the oil that well has always produced. And if you try to dump something completely different chemically on the market, you'll get caught. They absolutely have a chemical makeup, a DNA. It's just, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. So these people stole $300 million worth of oil that they were putting on barges. These barges were going up I'm trying to remember the river. I don't remember if it was the Rio Grande.
I can't remember. Because it said it in the link, right? That I sent you.
These people lived in like a $10 million mansion. They were obviously wealthy to begin with. And now, stealing oil and smuggling oil is about the same as narcotics. And what that means is they are going to have every single thing they own is going to be seized. I don't know if the penalties as far as prison time, I don't know. If you steal $300 million worth of oil, then you have stolen $300 million worth of goods, right? So that'll be the highest possible prison sentence.
Yes.
And there'll be other charges attached to that as well. If it was stolen from Mexico, brought into the United States, there'll be international charges. There'll be charges for illegally bringing it into the country, like smuggling. Could be some RICO stuff. Like this is going to be really bad for these people. They're going to lose everything they've ever worked for, including their oil terminal. They had an oil terminal that they owned that they were using to steal oil.
That is really dumb.
Yeah. And that old man had this beautiful mane of white hair. He kind of resembled the most interesting man in the world. Remember that guy? Older man, wealthy, beautiful skin, beautiful hair. He's about to be Poe. He's about to be very Poe. And based on his looks, not to use any microaggressions, but based on his looks, I don't know if he'll ever get out of prison while he's still alive. Although he does look very good for his age.
Yeah.
Was that a microaggression?
I'm not sure. I'm literally okay. I don't know. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, come on. Let's go for this ride. Jobu says money laundering, conspiracy, and smuggling.
Yes.
Someone needs to go in that jail and just play Smuggler's Blues by Glenn Frey in that dude's cell for 50 years.
Oh my God.
Just put it on loop.
You chose violence.
Huh?
You chose violence.
No. That's not violence.
That's repeat of that song over and over forever. Yeah, that's choosing violence.
Yes, Dishelle, their sons were involved. It was husband and wife, and I believe husband and wife and 2 sons that were all involved in this.
Man.
But I am telling you right now, you know, unless you're a country, like a country might get away with this, but even countries can't get away with it. Saudi Arabia got caught buying Russian oil and selling it to the United States. So even Saudi Arabia couldn't get away with it. You cannot steal $300 million worth of oil and get away with it. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Gotta get some good lawyers.
How do you personally avoid your own thought processes, follow a mob mentality? Personally, I find myself fighting to get caught in the emotion during the heat of the moment. I'm pretty good about not getting wrapped up in emotion. And the thing is, that in itself really pisses people off.
It does.
It does. There's some huge story out. Everyone's outraged, right? Everyone's angry, sad, outraged, whatever. And I sit here very calm and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. And they are automatically pissed off because I am trying to get to the truth of the story because I don't believe anything anybody says anymore. Jesus could walk in here right now and tell me something and I would have to fact check his ass, okay? That's just how it is.
I'm pretty sure that's why people get angry with me too, because I'm like...
You are that way, yes.
Yeah, I am very much that way, yeah. I kind of like whatever.
And now having that sort of mentality can be quite a burden, honestly. Because the things I do get angry about, and the things, you talk about, not letting your emotions get a hold. When I see people believe the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, that's what I get emotional about. That's what I get angry about.
Me too. Yes, me too. Absolutely. I get very angry at that. And I don't know why I get so angry at it because I don't get angry at everything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, why am I so mad about that? Like, why am I so mad? And I even, like I'll say to my husband, why? Like, why? I can't handle dumb people. I can't do this.
Well, when you see
and
someone...
I don't think that's the issue, but...
Yeah. Let's use some examples.
Okay.
Someone believes that people are clubbing babies in the head and unaliving them after they're born.
Yes. Someone actually believes that.
And they believe that Donald Trump is going to pass a law to make that illegal.
Yeah.
Because do they not understand that murder is already illegal? You know what I mean? Like, or, I don't know. What's another one? Let's get Jill back in here. What's another one? You in here, Jill? I don't hear Jill. So what else do they believe? I'm going to send her another invite and see if that works. Believing that children are getting sex changes in school. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get bent out of shape on that. So that's, those are the things that I have issues with, right? Yeah, litter boxes in classrooms. Give me a break. All right, everything's froze up. We're going to have to restart the live. I'll be back in 2 minutes. We have to restart.